Hello and welcome to another GCSE revision video. In this video we're going to be looking at percentages and look at the difference between off and of. Okay, so we might be asked, for example, to find 20% of £50. Well, to find 20% of a thing, just multiply by 20%. So £50 times 20% is just £50 times 20 over 100. We remember that 20% means 20 over 100. It's just a fraction out of 100. So 50 times 20 over 100 is just 5 times 2, which is £10. Note the two zeros on the bottom can cancel with one of the zeros from the 20 and one of the zeros from the 50, so you're just left with 5 times 2 is £10. Another way you could have thought about it is 20% is just 1/5, and 1/5 of £50 is £10. Okay, well, so much for the of. What about the off? Let's say you're given a question like an item was £50 and is labelled 20% off. To find 20% off something, we have to subtract 20% of that something. So to find the 20% of something, we multiply by 20%. So in this case, £50 times 20% is £10, as we just looked at. So to find 20% off, we take that £10 away from the original £50 and we're left with £40. So an item was £50, it's labelled 20% off, it is now £40. Okay, so going the opposite way, an item is labelled 20% off and it costs £40, but the label doesn't tell you what the original price was. So if you miss out on the sale, what would the full price be? Well, we can use algebra and we can try and work it out that way. Let the original price be y. So y minus 20% of y is £40. Well, we don't actually know what y was, but we know that 20% is the same as 20 over 100. So y minus 20 over 100y, or 20y over 100, is equal to £40. If we don't like the fractions, we could multiply the whole thing through by 100. So 100y minus 20y is equal to 4,000. Now 100 minus 20 is 80, so if we've got 100 y's and we've got 20 y's, we subtract 20 y's from 100 y's, we're left with 80 y's. So 80 y is equal to £4,000. So y is equal to £4,000 divided by 80, and you can either do a little bit of mental arithmetic or you can just whip your calculator out. If we did the mental arithmetic, we can cancel the 0 from the top and the bottom, and that leaves us with 400 over 8, which is the same as 200 over 4, which is the same as 100 over 2, which is £50. Okay, that was a lot of work, I admit. Maybe there's an easier way to do it. Well, if we remember that 20% is 1/5, then the calculations become a little bit easier. So we let the original price be y, so y minus 1/5 of y is £40, so 4/5 of y is £40, so y is equal to, well, £50. But wait, it gets even easier if we think of a percentage as a decimal. So if we remember that 20% is just 20 over 100, move the decimal point 2 places to the left, it's actually 0.2. So we let the original price be y, so y minus 0.2 times y is £40, so 0.8y is £40, so y is equal to 40 divided by 0.8. In this case, we probably want to get our calculator out and say y is equal to £50. If we didn't have a calculator, then we're left with y divided by 8 over 10, which is the same as 40 times 10 divided by 8, which is 400 divided by 8, which we divide by 2, we end up with £50 again. Okay, but did you see what we've done there? In all of those cases, what we've effectively done is just divide by whatever percentage would make the discount up to 100%. So if it's 20% off, well, 100% minus 20% is 80%, so we divide by 80%. If it was, say, 60% off, then 60% plus 40% equals 100%, so we divide by 40%. So in this case, all you would do if you were in this situation where an item is labelled 20% off and costs £40 and you want to know the original price, you just whip your calculator out and divide by 0.8 and that gives you your answer. Okay, well, you should be empowered now to be able to cope with this little conundrum I'm going to give you. So you're in a store and you see an item that you really want, and it's on sale for a staggering 60% off, and it now only costs £18. But that's a 60% discount, it's really good. The problem is you're tapped out until payday. If you go overdrawn, the bank will charge you £30. And to make matters worse, the offer expires just before payday. So the dilemma is, do you take the offer and pay the bank charges, or do you wait until payday and pay the full price? Note, you can't go to the bank of mum and dad. Okay, I wish you good luck with that question and good luck with your revision, and I'll see you in another video. Only joking, I wouldn't really do that to you. Okay, if you actually want to try this question out for yourself, why don't you write it down now, or pause the video, write it down now, and when you're ready to see the answer, hit play. Okay, I'm assuming now that you've got your answer or that you just want to see the answer. So I'm going to go ahead and do the answer now. So the item costs £18 and that's equal to 60% off. So the original cost was 18 divided by 0.4. That is to say 18 divided by 40%, because 40% plus 60% makes 100%. So we're dividing by 0.4, so that's equal to 180 divided by 4, which is equal to 90 divided by 2, which is equal to £45. So if you missed out on the sale, this item would have cost you £45. Now if you take the deal, you're paying £18 to the shop and you're paying £30 to the bank. So this item is costing you £48. So if you take the deal, you're paying £48, and if you wait until payday, you're paying £45. So you'd be £3 better off if you waited until payday. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and why don't you have a go at practicing some examples for yourself that you just make up. And I would like to wish you all the best with your revision and all the best with your exams, and I'll see you in a future video. This really is the end of the video now, by the way, there's no joking this time.